Hello everyone, thanks for tuning into today's Words of Wisdom. Today's is from February 5th, and I quote, "If all everyone ever said was, 'I want this, but no one will do it for me,' there would not be a single happy person in the entire world from the laws of happiness." Thank you, Master Okawa. So in this kyoten, the laws of happiness, it talks about the four principles of love and the four principles of happiness. And today's Words of Wisdom is actually from chapter 4, section 3, the principle of love. And it's on page 176 on this newest version of this kyoten. And it's simply Master's teaching us, as we all know, begin by giving love, and then you'll start finding happiness because you'll become more enlightened. That's the important part. These four principles of happiness, it's actually, I would say that you can kind of say it like this. It's the four principles to be able to attain enlightenment. And when you attain enlightenment, you'll be able to solve the issue called unhappiness in your life. So there's the fourfold path, and then there is happiness, but in between, there's something called enlightenment. First, you achieve enlightenment, a soul's growth, and then you're able to achieve a happiness by solving your unhappiness. So I would like to read two paragraphs regarding love on page 175. The first principle is the principle of love. The principles of happiness could be constructed in different ways, but since it's the first of the principles, I wanted it to be a broad gateway, a teaching that would be wide enough to allow anyone to practice. Those who are studious and intelligent may wish for more complex discussions about how to reach enlightenment. But not all people are well learned, and in reality, people who are suffering aren't necessarily suffering rationally, they're suffering emotionally. So I felt that the principle that's the largest, most universal one throughout the world is the principle of love. It is the broadest one and one that people can easily start with. But it is by no means an inferior principle. It's a gateway to my teachings that anyone can start with, but no one can graduate from. This is the principle of love. So the reason why I read this part out loud is I liked this part. People who are suffering aren't necessarily suffering rationally, they're suffering emotionally. It's more of an emotional pain. We call this taking love or attachment in Buddhism or in happy science. A lot of people are suffering because all we're thinking is thinking about getting something from others. And the pain of not being able to get what you want is one of the basic sufferings that accompanies life. Buddha said that this is the truth of life. That one of them is the pain of not getting what you want. So, enlightenment is important. Enlightenment, in my words, is like the power to be able to shift your perspective, the power to be able to graduate from living on the principles of biology, or like based on the principles of being an animal-like being, and being more into a human being, a refined character. And by doing so, by leveling up your stage, then you can overcome this emotional pain. It's very true. Just start by thinking of what you can give instead of getting. And going back to today's quotes, if everyone in the world is only thinking about taking, this whole world will be hell. It's going to be hell on earth. That is why, as a public servant, as a child of God, we're all public servants, essentially, we're all spiritually a public servant. That's the purpose of life, to bring happiness to this world and try to make this world a better place. So as that, dividing human beings as a child of God with the public service of making this world better, start by giving. And interestingly, naturally, you will end up feeling much lighter and happier. So let's take these today's words of wisdom to heart and start practicing giving love wherever we can start from. That is it for today's video. Thank you very much for tuning in, and hope to see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.